We are here at the Sports Nutrition Summit in San Diego, and I am joined by 8-time world champion runner Joseph Gray. Thanks so much for joining me.
No, thank you for having me.
So, wow, you're a very accomplished runner. Obviously, nutrition is probably very important to you. Could you tell me a little bit about your nutrition regimen?
Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, really important to eat a lot of carbs. I'm a big fan of carbs. I really love red meat just because, trying to keep my ferritin up and try to avoid taking like iron just because it's a little rough on the stomach, but get a lot of my nutrition from, red meats when it comes to iron, and just try to make sure I'm covering all grounds. I eat a little bit of everything, veggies, fruits. I don't really stick to a super strict diet, but I eat everything.
So it's kind of refreshing to hear that you love carbs. A lot of people are on this keto kick. Is that even something that people in your field are into? Because I did notice a lot of people online, some influencers, things like that, are really pushing the keto.
Yeah, I think when you get to a sport like mine, especially at the top, I can't speak for everybody, but I can definitely speak for the athletes at the top, and you're not seeing that trend just because carbs are really important. You look at a lot of the guys, the best guys on the road scene, the best guys in the marathon track scene, they eat a lot of carbs. A lot of guys that I train with who are from Kenya, tons of carbs, tons and tons of carbs. So it's very important when you're talking about being good, long-term in an endurance-based sport.
So you don't just run on flat ground. You are, like you mentioned, terrain, different altitudes. How does that impact the different vitamins that you might take?
Big time, because you are doing a lot of different types of races and you're kind of bouncing between different genres of distance running. Being healthy is a very big part of that. Working with inflammation, working with making sure your heart is really good. And a big thing I try to avoid is painkillers, especially drug-based ones. And so I work with mostly natural anti-inflammatories such as, astaxanthin. And, the big thing is because it does have hydrophilic and lipophilic properties, so it can protect the entire cell. And when you look at, say, muscular cells, right? It's very important that you protect those cells so that you can recover, so that you can kind of keep putting in tough efforts back to back to back, and also protecting red blood cells. As a runner, we lose a lot of red blood cells just from busting capillaries in our feet. It's very important to make sure you have certain supplements like antioxidants that can protect those cells and keep you going strong. Along with, I definitely supplement with some protein when I'm in a heavy workload, a heavy workload in the middle of my season. Those are kind of the two bigger ones that I keep, consistently.
So you've obviously done your homework and your research on different vitamins and nutrition. How important is that, and do you notice your fellow athletes, do they also do a lot of research, or is there a lot of misinformation out there?
I think it's kind of 50-50, right? You have some athletes who do a lot of, their research. Some of them just take others, word for it, or they have a nutritionist, or they have a coach that they trust and put their trust in. Me, I understand that humans make mistakes, so I try not to put my trust in other people as so much, and especially because I'm drug tested. So ultimately, I have to be responsible for what I put in my body. So I do my own research a lot of times. But yeah, I think you do see a lot of guys who will do their research and they're looking for valid research, but then on the other hand, there's a lot of misinformation. When you look at social media, a lot of people being paid, they're not being genuine and honest, and they're just doing it for a buck, and they'll just say, hey, take this because it's great for you and it'll do this or that, and it's there's nothing to back that up, and they don't even really take it themselves. So you can be fooled if you just look on social media for that information. So I definitely tell people, do your research, but don't start with social media. Do real research.
Actual research.
Yeah, peer-reviewed research. Look at real data. Don't look at biased data that the company made for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to expand your horizons.
Tell me a little bit about your sponsors, and you kind of put, I noticed online, I was reading about you challenged them to sort of promote more diversity within your sport. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I started a project, Inspire Diversity. So basically, when I was younger, I kind of took a step into the dark, going from basketball, predominantly black sport. You feel very comfortable. Everyone kind of looks like you, to doing, distance running where nobody looked like me, and I was many times the only guy on the start line. And then I went into mountain running, and it's even worse. Like, you're really the only guy there a lot of times. And so what I'm doing is trying to help inspire that next generation of minority and black kids to, give the sport a try, and let them know they're not alone, and they have somebody to look up to, have somebody that looks like them in the sport already, and just to encourage them to with their journey. And if you like mountains like I did, and you're the only one there, it's scary, but it's like you still like it and you want to try it. And so just letting them know, hey, sometimes it's going to be scary, you're going to be the only one, but you're going to help other people. You're going to inspire others. And so by me trying to inspire them, they'll inspire others if they take that same step forward. And so just trying to, be that person, and provide opportunities. And my sponsors kind of get behind me and help me help other kids. I reach out to the community to see if there's kids out there that people feel fit the bill from what I'm asking for, the kids that I'm looking to kind of help with product. And it's been great so far, just hearing back from the community, getting feedback from people who have said that I've inspired them, other minorities, and it makes me want to keep doing more.
Yeah, I was going to ask what the response is, but it sounds like it's been very positive.
It has, but you know how it is. So especially in our environment right now, politically and racially, we have a lot of issues going on in our country right now. So it's something that a lot of people, as I was talking about social media, they'll read a piece of something and they'll think, and there'll be a negative reaction. So there are people who say negative things, but they don't actually look at the whole piece. They don't understand the whole project, and they don't understand what it represents and what I'm trying to do. So there are some people who are just ignorant, and they don't really look into something before they comment.
Right. So I think education is key, and that's sort of been an ongoing theme throughout the summit.
Just read. Don't just take a piece of something. Actually look into it. Yeah.
Paving the way for diversity. Joseph Gray, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.